Hello, my name is Sandy Medilli, and I'd like to talk to you today about Neat Receipts and how to use the new version 5 with your expense reports. If you've upgraded from version 4 to version 5, during the install you were asked to name your cabinet. Potentially you could have left it as My Cabinet, and that's just fine. Underneath if I click on My Cabinet, you'll see that you can launch video tutorials, go to Community for Neat Receipts, where you can see different ideas and experiences from other users, or go to the Help file. You'll also see the cabinet stats of your different folders, documents, and how many receipts you may have. And if you've scanned in any contacts, you can see that as well. Under My Cabinet, you'll have specific folders such as business documents, business expenses. Maybe if you've upgraded from version 4, you'll have migrated contacts, documents, an inbox, receipts, and so forth. You'll also have a trash can. You want to pay close attention to the trash can, because if you've scanned in a receipt, such as a hotel receipt that's 8.5 by 11, it will automatically scan it as a document, and it potentially will put it into the trash can, in which case you will need to move it. If you've changed the receipt, it will drop it into the trash can, and you'll need to move it to the correct folder. To create a report, I'm going to right mouse click on Business Expenses, click on New Folder, give this a name. Typically I give my folders the name that the administration people within Cubit, Jane and Mary Ann, require the naming scheme to be. So I give it my initials, the name of the client that this expense report refers to, and the last date of when I was at the client. I will type in a description for this expense receipt for the report itself. I went to this client for a developer class, and click OK. It now appears here under my business expenses. It is currently empty. I'm going to scan in my first receipt, face down into my portable scanner, press the scan button, and it's going to scan in the receipt. You'll notice that the Q button was running. If you have the folder selected, it will drop the receipt in that specific folder. You could actually click on the Q button and see it being processed. Once it comes in, you may see it come in as unreviewed. On the right-hand side, you'll see the actual receipt. You can choose to see it in color or in black and white. You'll also notice that you have a little tool bar here at the bottom right corner. You can rotate the receipt, crop it, change the brightness, delete it, or move it to another folder potentially. You could also choose to see the receipt in full screen. You could also zoom in and out of the folder. You want to pay attention to how the receipt came in and make sure it is legible. To review the receipt, you can double click. You could also press the item view. You want to choose which columns you see. So I'm going to double click on the receipt itself. I can change potentially the vendor, change the item type as well from receipt, contact, or document. Choose the category. I want to make sure that it's meals and restaurant. Type in the date or change the date of the receipt. Potentially I may need to modify the amount, specifically if I was at a restaurant and I hand wrote my tip on my receipt. I would want to make sure the total reflected in this amount column. I can choose whether this is a reimbursable receipt. I could also choose the client that this was for. You can type in comments here in this section, under the comment section, or what you can do is you can click on this down arrow next to Select Smart Comment Category, choose the category, and then choose Comment. Based on that category, it depends on what comments come up. So for example, I'm going to choose Other, put in the attendees that this receipt reflected. So for example, if you took out the client to dinner, you may want to put that in. And I can choose to type in that this was a snack, for example. You want to be aware of what comments you put in because the client will see these comments. Click on Save Comment, and it appears here in the section. I can click on my list views to either go back, or I could have hit the back button. I could also choose a thumbnail view. Okay, next receipt I'm going to scan in is my hotel receipt. So I'm going to face that down, press the scan button, and let that scan. This particular receipt is an 8.5 by 11. As the queue is going, I'm going to let it run. And let it come in. I'm going to double click on my new receipt, change it to receipt instead of document. When I do that, it's going to, if I hit the back button, remove it from this list. So I want to go to my trash can, and in my trash can I should see that receipt somewhere. There it is. Okay, I can right mouse click and move this receipt, or I can just simply drag and drop it to the right folder. Expand my business expenses and select that folder. Click OK. And in here, I can choose to see that receipt. Make sure the vendor is fine. The date of the receipt, I'm going to change this to May 2nd, and make sure the total reflects the receipt. Now again, I can zoom in to make sure I can see that amount. I want to choose reimbursable and type in my client. I can also choose food, lodging, and hotel. Click on Go, and I can type in the rate and other information if I really wanted to. I'm going to hit Cancel. I could either hit the back button, or I could hit the previous to go back to other, or the next button, depending on where you're at, to go view other receipts in that report. You'll notice though that it brought in when I moved it from the trash can up, it changed it to receipt, which is great, but it also left the receipt as a document, so I just want to delete that one. Highlight it and delete it, or you can right mouse click and delete as well. You could also create your own receipts. For example, if you wanted to do mileage, so under the right mouse click, choose New Receipt, or under the Action button, you can choose New and then Receipt. I'm going to double click on that receipt, choose Nothing for the vendor, choose Fuel and Auto because this is going to be mileage. I'm going to choose the date. I'm going to leave the amount blank for now, choose Reimbursable, and type in the client. When I'm doing mileage, I want to check to make sure the mileage is correct. So how I can do that, instead of creating that calculation and putting the amount here, I can choose under Select Smart Comment Category, the down arrow, choose Fuel and Auto, click the Go button. The rate per mile is going to be determined by Mary Ann or Jane. You'll get a communication usually sometime in the beginning of the year or whenever that rate changes. Put in the rate. You're going to put in the total mileage that you used for that client. When you either hit enter or click into the comment section, it calculates the rate times the miles. You can put comments such as to and from New Jersey to Lebanon, New Hampshire for TM1 developer training. Again, please be aware of what you're typing, and you may want to check for spelling errors since the clients are going to be seeing these receipts, these comments. Click on Save Comment, and I can click on my back button to view all my receipts. I could also choose what columns I want to see. If I right mouse click on them, on the label itself, I could choose the description, comment, and so forth. I may want to expand certain fields. So for example, I would like to see my comment really expanded so that way it appears on my report pretty large, and maybe even the description field as well. Excuse me. Once I'm done with all of my receipts for this particular report, there's a report button that you should press. It's a wizard. You're going to choose on the first step, Expense Report. Click Next. Select the folder that you'd like to create. You can create filters to be selective in which data you want to include in your report. For the most part, we don't want to filter because we want all of our receipts to show. Click on Next Step. In page 2 and step 3, there is a known bug. When you choose the letter 8.5 by 11, you currently cannot change the layout from portrait to landscape. If you view some of the tutorials, it will show you that you can do that, but it's actually a known bug right now. We're waiting for a bug fix to appear. You can include the cover page, the images, include page numbers, and you want to also include the image captions. You can sort the report by category, for example, and choose ascending order. You're going to see the columns that it will appear in your report. You're going to click Next, and it's going to render that report. Also, Neat Receipts knows about this bug. If you click on Print, it will print the report, but it will not print in landscape. It will print out in portrait. So you want to, for now, click on Save As, choose Acrobat PDF file. It's going to export the report into a PDF. You're going to give the name of the report with your initials, the client name, and the date of that receipt. of the last time you were there at the client. You do want to review the report. Also, you want to be aware of, currently there is also a known bug. Next to the authorization signature, there should be a little box for a date. It currently moves it to the next section, to the next page. They are trying to fix this. If I click on the next button, I see that I have the number of the receipt, the vendor, the category, the receipt date, the amount, whether it was reimbursable or not, the client, and the comment. Notice that my comment field is expanded, and that's because of, on the first screen on the main page, I can expand those columns in the actual report itself. I want to click on Next, and just make sure your receipts are legible and Jane and Marianne can view them. We'll click Close, and you are now ready to submit this report into NetSuite. Also, what you can do under your reports is you can, for example, choose in one of your reports, right mouse click at the top, and you're going to choose which categories that you want to bring over, such as the vendor name, the category, the receipt date, amount, reimbursable, the client, and the comments. There is a billable checkbox, but we don't need to do that. As long as you, in NetSuite, check off the billable box, then you're fine, or choose billable by client, then you're okay. If you have any questions regarding Neat Receipts, please feel free to send me an email or to give me a call. Thank you and good luck.